In this video, we're going to discuss a few more of the features in the WordPress and Genesis that you need to understand. The first one is called plugins. Now, plugins make it easier to do things in WordPress, and here are all of the installed plugins. I simply just clicked on the installed plugins location and it pulled up everything. And when you go to this section and you see one that looks like it has an orange tint around it, that means you need to update. Now, update now would be best, but I'm not going to do that right now because we're in the middle of this video. But you need to be sure that you include a few of these, and I'm going to take you down my list of things that you probably want to do. You want to either use the Yoast SEO plugin or the all-in-one SEO plugin. That's this one here. You also want to make certain that you use the Google XML sitemaps, because when you are trying to get your site ranked better, Google looks for a sitemap, and if you don't have one, you don't rank as good, so be sure that you include that. And here's the Jetpack by WordPress.com plugin that I was referred to earlier in a video. You want to make sure you use this because it will help tell you when your site goes down. That's just a couple of the ones that I use on a regular basis, and some that you need to use as well. Alright, I also use this YouTube plugin, and it helps whenever you are adding in a YouTube video. You just have to add the share link rather than the embed code, and I like that. It makes it much easier. Now, if you're trying to add a new plugin, you just click add new right here, and it'll bring up this location, and this is how you install it through WordPress. You can install them manually through your host provider, or there's a few different ways, but this is the simplest way here. You would just come in here and click search right here, whatever you're searching for, and it'll pull it up. Let's just type YouTube in here and just see what comes up. And if you wanted to install any of these, you would just click the install button. Now, just don't come in here and look through all these WordPress plugins and think, ooh, that one's been downloaded 10 million times. I probably need that on my site. You need to have as few plugins as possible, because every time you add one, that makes that much longer it takes Google to load your page. And the slower your page loads, the lower you rank. So keep that in mind. So that's how you add a new plugin. Here's an editor in the plugin section. Avoid that. That is for people that understand how to develop and use PHP, which I know nothing about. Your feed burner form, don't mess around with that unless you know what you're doing. Now, right here under the users tab, this is where you add new users in WordPress. So if you needed to add a new user, you would just click the add new button right here. Now, don't worry about adding yourself, because when you sign up for WordPress, you'll be the administrator, and it will automatically sign you up whenever you install WordPress. So if you wanted to add a new somebody to help you write, say for instance, you put their information in here, but be certain whenever you add them that you only give them no more than an author role, because if you give them an editor or an administrator role, they can do a lot of damage to your site. If it's someone you don't really know very well and trust, never give them higher role than author. That's what I use for my writers on my site. Not that I don't trust them, it's just they don't really need to know or don't need access to any more than that. Now here's your profile. that you have right now, if you wanted to come in here and change some things like your biography, if you wanted to add a bio, you could add that in here, which I strongly recommend that you include your Twitter and your biography information. It just looks better when you're on your post, under your post, and I think it just maybe that Google likes that. Your tools, these are things here that you probably don't need to worry about. And here are your settings, things for like general, writing, reading, discussion, all that kind of stuff. Normally when you add a plugin, you will get a option here too as well. So keep that in mind if you're looking to turn something on or off. When you add a plugin, it may be under the settings menu. Here's some more SEO stuff. Just don't worry about that unless you know what you're doing. Don't change anything. Just use the defaults. And the rest of these things are actually plugins that you don't really need to worry about. But inside the settings here in the Generals tab, we'll open this up. You do need to come in here and fill out some of the information like the site title, the tagline, and all of that different jazz in here. The writing. One other thing that I want to talk to you about here that's very, very important are permalinks. You need to choose permalinks. And the way I always do it is I always just choose post name, and that way it names the URL whatever the post is called. That's the best thing I can tell you to do. Now, do not start using post name and then 6 months down the road change it to something else, because everybody that has a link to your page or to your site will be broken, because it breaks all the links that you had beforehand if you change that. So whenever you choose this, you can't change it for the rest of the site's duration. Don't change it again. And here, down here at the bottom, is your XML sitemap. You need to make sure that Google's got a copy of this. And this is a good place for you to sign up with Google, Bing, and Yahoo. You can submit your site to their directories, so do that. It will help you get ranked better. And guys, hope those little bit of that overview helped.